I am Dr. Sandy Selvi. I am going to deliver a lecture on non-symbiotic nitrogen fixation in plants. Non-symbiotic nitrogen fixation means both the plants and the microorganisms are not benefited. It is called as the non-symbiotic nitrogen fixation. Okay, so non-symbiotic nitrogen fixation in plants. Okay, so the non-symbiosis means what it is called as a non-symbiosis. The large number of the free living or the non-symbiotic bacteria does not form the nodule but make association by living in the rhizobiums present in the soil. The commonly used free living bacteria are called as Acetobacter and Klebsiella. Okay, so Acetobacter and Klebsiella, it is not associated with the plants. Acetobacter is a biofertilizer which provides the recovered amount of the nitrogen to the plant from the soil. Okay, so how it can be carried out? Asymbiotic nitrogen fixers. Asymbiotic nitrogen fixers means the plant cannot fix the atmospheric nitrogen from the soil. Okay, from the soil, a plant cannot absorb the atmospheric nitrogen. The plant can fix the atmospheric nitrogen in the form of the nitrate. Okay, so in the form of the nitrate, it is the conversion of the nitrogen to the nitrate is carried out by the microbes. Okay, so the microbes present in the soil, it can be converted into the ammonia. So the nitrogen, it is from the atmosphere, it can be converted into the ammonia, and that ammonia can be converted into nitrate. The nitrate is utilized by the plants. Okay, and then what are the microorganisms it is involved is called as Acetobacter. Acetobacter, it is isolated and described by the Benjamin in the year 1901. The Acetobacter is a free-living aerobic nitrogen fixing bacteria. It is used as a biofertilizer for all the biofertilizer. Okay, so many biofertilizers present, but it is a free living aerobic nitrogen fixing bacteria. It is used as the biofertilizer for all the non-leguminous plant, especially rice, cotton, vegetables, and the flower crops. The species are called as Acetobacter crococum and Acetobacter pinnatis. The scientists who discovered this, the scientists isolated the Acetobacter. The scientist name is there. And then what is the physiology? It is the present means the nature is called as a chemoheterotropic free living. And then what are the nutrient needed for the growth of the Acetobacter? Carbon source, nitrogen source, and the respiration. So carbon source, the variety of carbon source such as the mono and the di and certain polysaccharides and present in the organic acids, and the nitrogen source is mainly through the nitrogen fixation, amino acids, ammonia, and NO3. And the respiration is carried out in the presence of aerobic. Aerobic means in the presence of oxygen. And then the growth of the microorganisms carried out in a growth media is called as Aspergillus medium. It is a double in the time duration is 3 hours. And its contribution is about 20 to 40 milligram, the BNF medium. So the BNF medium of the carbon source in the laboratory conditions equivalent to 20 to 40 kilogram per hectare. Kilogram of nitrogen per hectare. The production of the growth producing substances like vitamin B groups and indole acetic acid, the plant growth hormones such as auxin and gibberellin. What is the other name for auxin is called as indole acetic acid and gibberellin is called as gibberellic acid. It promotes the growth of the plant. And the biological control of the plant disease by suppressing the, because it is a fungicide, so it inhibits the growth of the Aspergillus and Fusarium. It can be recommended for the rice, wheat, millets, other cereals, cottons, vegetable, sunflower, mustard, and flowers. It has increased in yield is about 20 to 30%. Okay, and then Acetobacter, how it is? It is a heterotropic, the free-living nitrogen fixing bacteria present in alkaline and the neutral soil. Acetobacter is the most commonly occurring species occur in the arable soil or in India. Arable soil of the India. Apart from this ability to fix atmospheric nitrogen in soil, it can also synthesize the growth promoting substance, auxin and gibberellin. How to isolate the Acetobacter? The Acetobacter is present in the specific media, BNF media, and then you have to culture it. This nitrogen fixing bacteria, it is especially for the non-leguminous crops. Thus, non-leguminous is the crop as fixes the atmospheric nitrogen and make it available to the plants in an asymbiotic manner. The Acetobacter may be useful for monocot vegetables. Acetobacter also secretes some fungicides. So fungicides, so enzymes that are secreted in a minute amount but inhibit the fungal growth. The use of Acetobacter increase the crop production in large scale. Okay, in large scale. How you have to make it the large scale? But first thing is you isolate the bacterial culture and identification. After that, you have to make it the subculture. The subculture is carried out into a nutrient broth, and the cultures were grown under the shaking condition of 30 plus or minus 2 degrees centigrade. The cultures are incubated until it reaches the maximum cell population of 10 to the power of 1 to 10 to the power of 1. Under the optimum condition, the population level could be attained within 4 to 5 days for Rhizobium, 5 to 7 days for Azospirillum, and 6 to 7 days for Acetobacter. And the culture obtained in the flask is called as the starter culture. Always preserve it, the starter culture. From the starter culture, you make it the large scale population. The inoculum from the starter culture is transferred into the large flask fermenter and grown until the recovered the level of the cell count is reached. Okay, so this is the field. Next thing is, after you are making the culture, you want to that is of a pack, right? So that pack is we need the some carrier material. So what is the various type of carrier materials are available, especially for the seed and the soil inoculation. For the preparation of seed inoculant, the carrier material is milled to the fine powder with the particle size of 10 to the 40 mm. The properties of the good carrier material for the seed inoculant is non-toxic to the inoculant bacterial strain, and the good moisture absorption strain, good easy to process and the free of the lump forming material, easy to sterilize by autoclaving or gamma radiation, available in the adequate amounts. So inexpensive, good adjacent to the seeds, and then good pH buffering capacity. Need the less non-toxic to the plant is another important property. So all the things is you have to make it that the first thing is the carrier and the inoculum should be that before you are going to do the work, you have to make the sterilization. So the common sterilization is the for a carrier, it is called as autoclaving. The carrier material is packed in a partially opened thin wall polypropylene bags and autoclave for 60 minutes at the temperature of 121 degrees centigrade. It should be noted that during the autoclaving, some materials changes the properties and produce the toxic substance to the some bacterial states. What are the new trends carried out in the formulation of a carrier molecules? Okay, that is the first one, is the best one also. It is encapsulation. So the polymers, they have demonstrated the potential act as a bacterial carriers. And these formulations encapsulate the living cells, protect the microorganism against the many environmental stresses and releases them to the soil gradually, but in a large quantities. When the polymers are degraded by the soil microorganism, usually at the time of seed germination and seedling emergence, they can be stored dried at ambient temperature for a prolonged period, offer a constant the batch quality and better defined environment for the bacteria, can be manipulated easily according to the needs of the specific bacteria. These inoculant can be amended with the nutrient to improve the short-term survival of the bacteria upon inoculation. So during the inoculation, we have to make it there. And then what is called as encapsulated formulation? The encapsulation of the microorganism into the polymer matrix is still carried out in the experimental. It is a latest technique, experimental in the field of bacterial inoculation technology. At present, there is no commercial bacterial product of this technology. The concept of underlying this immobilized microbiases to trap the beneficial microorganisms into the matrix. The formulation is then fermented into the bacterial growth medium. These formulations can produce many useful compounds for industrial, environmental applications such as organic acids, amino acids, enzymes, and biodegrade the toxic materials over the extended period of time. Okay, next thing is called as Azospirillum. Azospirillum is belong to the family called as Spirillaceae. These bacteria have found to live within the root of a sorghum, bajra, and ragi plants. These are called as a chemoheterotropic and association in nature and secrete the growth regulatory factors. These chemotropic are association with the in nature, secrete the growth regulatory substances. The use of Azospirillum inoculant help in increasing the yield of millet. It has significantly increased the growth, chlorophyll content, mycorrhizal infection in root, increased the growth, and the nutrient uptake by the barley plants were observed when the seeds were co-inoculated with the A. bacilli and a Glomalus viniform. So what is the feature of this Azospirillum? The cell size is curved, rod shape, and 1 millimeter in diameter, and the size and the shape is vary. It has accumulated, it is called as the polybeta hydroxybutyric acid. The gram, the reactions, it is called as the negative. And the development of the white follicle is 2 to 4 millimeter below the surface of the NFT medium. Okay, so this is the main feature of this. What is the physiology? Here also need that is of a nutrients. And the nature is called as chemoheterotropic associative. The carbon source is organic acid such as L-arabinose, D-gluconate, D-fructose, D-glucose, sucrose, and pectin. And the nitrogen sources is nitrogen through the fixation, amino acids, ammonia ions, and the nitrate ions. And the respiration is carried out either aerobic or microaerobic. And the growth media is called N-free, the bromothymol blue. That is called as the BF media. So NBF media, especially for the Azospirillum. And the doubling time is 1 hour. If the ammonia containing the media, the pH is about that is of neutral, and the time duration for it is called 5.5 to 7 hours on the malate containing the semi-solid medium. And the contribution is about 20 to 40 milligram of malate under the laboratory conditions, equivalent to 20 to 40 kilogram nitrogen per hectare. It is a result in increase the mineral and water uptake, the root development, vegetative growth, and the crop yield. It is can be recommended for rice, millets, maize, wheat, sorghum, sugarcane, and co-inoculant for legumes. An average increase in yield is about 15 to 30%. Okay, and the most common way of inoculation is seed inoculation. The seed inoculation means how the bacteria along with the carrier mixture. That mixture is mixed with the water to form the slurry, and that slurry is then mixed with the seeds. In this case, the carrier must be present in the form of fine powder. To achieve it, the tight coating of the inoculant on the seed surface, use of adhesive. What are the adhesives here used? Gum arabic, methyl cellulose, or sucrose solution, and vegetable oils. It is recommended for that is of a seed inoculation. But a seed inoculation not always successful. Why? Because of the inoculation is result in the low nodal occupancy of the inoculated the rhizobial strains, or low establishment of the inoculated rhizobacterial bacterial strain. This may be due to low population and or low survival of the inoculated the bacterial strain on the seed surface and in the soil. Okay, so what is soil inoculation means? It will be adapted and successful manner in a large population of a bacterial strain can be introduced into the soil. For the soil inoculation in general, the granular inoculant is placed into a burrow under or along the side of the seed. This enhances the chances for the inoculated strains to be in contact with the plant roots. Okay, and the next thing is here, the mass production of Azospirillum. Azospirillum, how we have to identify and screen it is the after that is of a half centimeter true piece, and the surface sterilized into 70% alcohol for 3 to 5 seconds and washed in the phosphate buffer at the pH 7.4 zero, around neutral, right? These root pieces are then placed in a semi-solid nitrogen-free, the sodium malate medium. This tube is re-incubated in 35 degrees centigrade for 48 hours. Okay, so this is the technique. You have to identify and isolate the Azospirillum, and then how to use that as in the field. There are three ways are there. The first one is called as a seed treatment. The seed treatment means the seeds are choked in the slurry overnight before sowing. About 2 kilograms of the inoculant needed for a hectare. And the seedling treatment meant 1 kilogram of the Azospirillum inoculant is mixed with the 40 liters of water to make a slurry. The root of a seedling to be transplanted or kept dipped in the slurry. So what you are doing, the root of the seedling is as such you can dip it in the slurry and then once again transplanted. And the top dressing. In this method, 3 kilogram of Azospirillum inoculum is mixed well with the 25 kilogram of the farmyard mixture and 25 kilogram of the soil. This mixture is broadcasted throughout the field by crop dressing. So crop response, how the crop can be respond? The Azospirillum fix the atmospheric nitrogen and release the plant promoting substance such as auxin and gibberellic acid. So the crops can grow well and give the higher yield. And Azospirillum increases the straw yield for a cattle feed as well as the grain yield in the rice variety, wheat, barley, sorghum, bajra, and the fodder crops. So Azospirillum treatment increase the phenolic content in the sorghum, hence the crop become very resistant to sorghum soni and Anthragonia scucata. Okay, so now we are coming to the next category. It is also the non-symbiotic nitrogen fixer. What is it? It is the blue-green algae. That is called as cyanobacteria. They are called as the photoautotrophs. On the basis of the cell size, the structure, the presence of 70S ribosome, other features we are saying that the cyanobacteria also belong to the prokaryote. They occur in the unicellular, colonical, or the filamentous organism. They are called as the gram-negative bacteria. They use the water as a hydrogen donor and perform the oxidative photosynthesis. And some of them are motile by gliding on the solid surface. How the mechanism is carried out? Just like that is of a algal. Okay, algal what they need? Sun and the carbon dioxide, water. Okay, so nutrient what? How that is of reclamation process. What is it called as reclamation process? Cleaning of water using the algae. So the bacteria present in the microalgal plants, what happened that it break the organic compound to yield the carbon dioxide, nitrogen and phosphorus. And this algae, what happened that it can utilize the carbon dioxide and remove the 90% of nitrogen and 95% of phosphate from the wastewater. So it can be uptake by the algae. This result in the nitrogen and phosphate rich algal biomass. This can be suitably used for what? Used for a biofertilizer. So what are the unique feature is the green color. So green color indicate means presence of this photosynthesis mechanism. The photosynthesis we need carbon dioxide and the sunlight. So photosynthesis localized, that is a chloroplast, localized in the flat membranous vesicle that is called as thylakoid membrane, like a similar that is of a chloroplast. The membranes of the thylakoid contain the chlorophyll and they have contained the two types of chlorophyll, alpha and beta, and the carotenoids, oxocarotenoids, and phycobilic proteins are present. Many cyanobacteria possess the gas valvules which are involved. The various pigments determine the color of the organism. Okay, what is it? Blue-green algae. It is everywhere. It is widely distributed. It is a group of a photosynthetic organism of the kingdom cyanobacteria. It can fix the atmospheric nitrogen. It can also be considered as a small aquatic plants that occur in a habitat such as rivers, lakes, dam soil, tree trunks, and hot springs and snow. It contains a large amount of blue-green algae. What are the species of blue-green algae? Nostac. The phylum is called as Cyanobacteria. Order is called as Carmogranules. Suborder is called as Nostogates. And the family is called as Nostoscia. And the Nostoc environment are diverse and widely spread over the globe. The isolates where it is located in the freshwater soils, both extremely the cold and extremely the acid habitats. They are found in the gelatinous colonies composed of the filaments. It is called as a trichomes. The trichomes are surrounded by the thin sheath, And the kingdom is, what the kingdom is present? The kingdom is the bacteria. The phylum is called as a Cyanobacteria Anapina. Anapina, it is the spiral rhizome. Order, that is called as Nostocale. Family is also Nostacea, and the genus name is called as Anapina. It is called as the filamentous, the blue-green algae. They widespread in freshwater and the damp soil. The cells are called as ovoid or barrel shape. The Anapina possess the heterocyst and can also develop the alkenides. Okay, so these Anapina can also fix the atmospheric nitrogen and do it. And certain organisms also called as symbionts in higher plants. The Anapina is otherwise called as water fern. They provide the nitrogen, especially in the rice crops, the flooded paddy fields, by adding up to 40 kilogram bound nitrogen per hectare per year. Okay, the Anapina helps to increase the soil bound phosphorus. Okay, soil bound phosphorus. So how we have to cultivate the blue-green algae in large scale. That is called as the mass production. So mass production for cultivation of the cyanobacterial biofertilizer, the regional specific the strains should be used. Okay, the following methods are used for the mass cultivation. The first one is called as a cemented tank method. Second method is called as a shallow metal troughs method. Third method is called as a polythene lined method. Okay, polythene lined method is suitable for the smallest and the marginal farmers for the preparation of the biofertilizer in the field itself. And the fourth method is field method. But I am going to tell about only the most important easy method, that is called as a polythene. That is a polythene lined method. Prepare the cement tank, swallow the trays of iron sheets or the polythene lined pits iron in an open area with the tank, or the pits should not be more than 1.5 meter. Transfer 2 to 3 kilogram of soil and add the 100 gram of the super phosphate, water the pit to about the 10 centimeter height. Mix the lime to adjust the pH. Add the 2 ml of insecticide. What is the need of insecticide? Other insects and mosquitoes cannot come, and then the culture multiplication. Okay, to protect the culture from the mosquitoes, mix well and allow to settle down the soil particles. When the water becomes clear, and then you have to add the 100 gram of the starter culture. Okay, the starter culture on the surface of the water. So what is the temperature we want to make? When the temperature remains around 35 to 40 degrees centigrade during the summer, the optimum growth of cyanobacteria can be achieved. The water level is always maintained about 1 centimeter during this period. After drying this, the algal mass, that is called as the mat, that is a separator from the soil that form the flakes. It is collected, powdered and packed in a polythene bag and supplied to the farmers after sealing the packets. The algal flax can be used as once again, it is used as a starter inoculum for that. Okay, so this is the main thing is there. Okay, so and the mass cultivation of cyanobacteria, you have to make that what? The preparation of the small pits with the polythene sheets. Water the pit. Add some amount of soil with the super phosphate. The pH is 7.0. Mix well and allow to settle. And inoculation of the mother culture. And appearance of the algal mat within the week at the temperature of 35 to 40 degrees centigrade. Drying, packing and the marketing. And the next you are coming to the important another one, blue-green algae, that is called as Azolla. The shape of the Indian spaces is typically a triangular, measuring about 1.5 to 3 centimeter in length and 1 to 2 centimeter in breadth. And then the roots emerging from the growing branches remain suspended in the water. The dorsal lobe, which remains exposed to air, is having a specific gravity containing the symbiotic partner, that is the blue-green algae Anapaena azula. The fern is capable of fixing the atmospheric nitrogen in the soil in the form of ammonium ions and become available as the soluble nitrogen for the cultured the species. Okay, so this is the main thing. So what are the conditions needed for that? The condition needed for that is water. First thing, the water. So main thing is 10 to 15 centimeter. The fresh current water is needed for necessary the multiplication of the azolla in the pond. The maintenance of adequate water level is at least 4 inches in the pond is essential. And the temperature is day and night. The temperatures ranges between 32 and 20 degrees have found to be most favorable. The optimum temperature for the luxurious is the growth of azolla is about 25 to 30 degrees centigrade. The light, it preferred to grow well under the partial shade. Okay, and then relative humidity. So the optimum relative humidity requirement is 85 to 90%. And the soil pHs, the azolla grow well in the slightly acidic soil having pH 5.2 to 5.8. The nutrition, it have contained the nutrition, the nitrogen fixing fern does not require the nitrogenous fertilizer for its growth. Only the phosphorus, it is needed just 20 kilogram per hectare needed is desirable for the good biomass production. And then cultivation of azolla. The azolla cultivation carried out in the two methods. One is grown within the standing crop within the field is called as azolla in situ, and then grown in the area by accumulating the sufficient water. That is the called ex situ method. Or in the smaller farmers, they can culture in the polythene bags also. Okay, so what is the steps is carried out in the culture of azolla? The first one is the selection of pond location, the pond size and construction, the production of azolla and then maintenance of the pond, harvesting and feeding, yield of azolla, economics of the azolla cultivation. Okay, how the first step is the selection of pond. The how to have to select the pond, water is the important source. So we must select the area near the house to ensure the regular upkeep and monitoring of the pond. And the suitable water source should be nearby for regular water supply. The site for that partial shade, it is very important. The shade has to be created to reduce the evaporation of water for better growth of azolla. And the floor area of the pond should be free of pointed stones, roots, and the thorns that can puncture the sheet and cause the leakage of the water. First point. Second point, the pond size. What size is there? It is a 6 into 4 feet. Okay, now because of the number of culture of species we have to use and the quantity of the supplemental feed required and availability of the resources. So small size holders means just 6 to 4 feet for the azolla cultivation can produce about 1 kilogram of the supplemented feed per day. The selected area should be cleaned and leveled. The side walls of the pond can be either bricks or raised embankment with the excavated soil. After spreading the durable plastic sheets you have in the pond, all the sides have to be secured properly using the bricks you have to place over the side walls. After the inoculation of the culture, the ponds need to be covered with what? Net. Why? Because for the partial shading and then to prevent the fall of the shaded leaves and the other debris into the pond. The wooden poles or the bamboo sticks have used to support the shade net and therefore you have to place over the net. And the bricks or stones can be used as the weight on the edges for securing the plastic sheet and also the net over the pond area. And the third point is the production of azolla. So sieved the fertile soil You have to mix it with what? Cow dung, and the water needed to be uniformly, because nutrient source. Okay, so uniformly spread over the pond. About 1 kilogram of fresh azolla culture is needed for a pond. The smaller size, 6 into 4, feet size, which needed to be applied uniformly in the pond. Biogas slurry can also be used instead of this cow tank. The depth of the water should be about 4 to 6 inches. During the monsoon season, if the rainwater is harvested, it is nice because it is especially for the cultivation of azolla. It will ensure it is excellent and the good faster growth. And because the soil content is salt content is very less. So if the total salt content of water used for growing azolla is high, it will adversely affect the growth. So the nature of the water is important for the growth of azolla. And the next thing is maintenance of the pond. Application of about 1 kilogram of cow dung and about 100 gram of superphosphate once in a week will ensure the better growth of azolla. And then any litter of aquatic weeds, because in the plants we are seeing weeds, right? Aquatic also what happened, that water weeds also grow. So the any litter or aquatic weeds seen in the pond should be removed regularly. The pond need to be emptied once in a 6 months. After that only the cultivation has to be started with the fresh azolla culture and the soil, and then harvesting. How you have to harvest? Depending on the initial quantity of the culture added, the environmental conditions and the nutrition, the azolla growth in the pond will be complete in about 2 to 3 weeks time. It had been harvested daily after the full growth. The plastic seeds, you have to use that to harvest the biomass from the pond surface. About 800 to 900 grams of azolla is a mean yield per day in a season can be produced from area of 6 into 4 feet size, smaller size. Azolla can be fed into livestock either in the fresh form or the dried form. It can also be given directly or mixed with the concentrate. The azolla that has to be washed thoroughly with the fresh water to remove the smell or that is of a dung. Or you have to use it there. So, and the next thing is yield. How much yield is there? Azolla produces about 8 to 10 tons of green mass, which is equal to 25 to 30 kilogram nitrogen, which is again equal to 55 to 66 kilogram of urea. So urea, that much kilogram of urea nitrogen given is here azolla just given 25 to 30 kilogram of nitrogen. And the economics, the expenditure on preparing of 6 into 4 feet pond, minimal cost is ₹500. But the farmer can realize the net profit of over ₹4,000 per annum from the annual fish production and the reduced use of concentrate, the feeding for the cultured fish species. So the azolla can be used as a animal feeder as well as for the aquaculture, that is a fisheries. For fisheries also we have to use that. So what is the limitation for this azolla cultivation? The water. Water is the prerequisite for its multiplication. So the water should be very clear, fresh water, and then huge quantity of inoculum is required, which is very difficult for transplanting action during the rainy season. And the temperature is what? That is 35 degrees centigrade. If it has temperature more than 35 degrees, it is not suitable. And the extreme temperature low is also not suitable. And the non-availability of technology to use the azolla as a dry inoculum. A non-availability of varieties are suitable for higher temperature with a low phosphate application. The initial cost of cultivation is high. Availability of nutrient to the plant is not instant. The market for azolla is not so popular. The ignorance of the people about the benefit of the azolla. So the main thing is to have the azolla, that much amount they give the nitrogen fixing to the soil when compared to that is of a chemical fertilizer. So the Azobacter, Azospirillum, and blue-green algae such as cyanobacteria and azolla, these things is what it have to fix the atmospheric nitrogen and convert it into the nitrate and increase the nitrogen content of the soil. Thank you.